Hello. I have the pleasure to give a short report about our subgroup 5 report, Geotechnical Data and Geohazards and City Subsurface Management. Our team was 13 people from 8 countries. With help of this model, we coordinated the works of the report. Our report is part of general report. It will be available soon at the website, as it still needs a little bit of editing. And it can be downloaded from the website. A short introduction. We have here an illustration how Warsaw, our home city for Polish Geological Institute, has developed since 50s, and how big amount of new construction projects emerged since 90s. And such a speed of development needs the good documentation and gathering the information about the subsurface. Our city partner, Warsaw Municipality, provided us data of the development of high-rise buildings in Warsaw, and we made some statistics that from 90s, it's constant increase in high-rise buildings construction. Average height is above 60 meters. However, the highest buildings are decreasing. Average number of sublevels is 3 underground sublevels. However, if we take into consideration only the new projects from the last 3 years, the standard is 5 sublevels. So we're digging deeper. As we see, this is Warsaw city center. This is the new metro line. And with those bold lines, we can see the new high-rise buildings emerging. So the city is growing, and we need more information, more geotechnical data, more maps to foster the development and planning of such projects. And that report of our subgroup was intended to deal with this issue. The report has 5 chapters. Introduction, geotechnical data availability, geotechnical databases, framework of geotechnical data transfer, and geohazards. Also, to the report we have 3 appendixes. One is set of geotechnical questionnaires, case studies of databases, and geohazard case studies. The aim of the report was to give an overview of the collection, storage, and usage of the geotechnical data across Europe. This was aimed to be done by the use of geotechnical questionnaires. We also wanted to highlight the importance of geotechnical databases and geohazards inventories to establish an efficient management of the city subsurface, and also to identify the good practices and best efforts in case of geohazards and geotechnical modeling. Chapter 2 of the report is focused on the geotechnical data availability questionnaires. We managed to prepare a questionnaire, sent it to all 27 coast countries at the time we sent it. There was big response, 22 field questionnaires were sent back, 17 countries responded, some of them distributed it within, so we had from 2 to 4 responses from country. Mostly responses came from geological surveys and public municipalities and universities. Geotechnical questionnaire is filled and added as an appendix, and the intention was to prove that geotechnical data, which is collected mostly by commercial companies for a wide range of both public and private projects, is not easily available, and sometimes when we do a geology for the city, we miss the data that is in private archives. And issues we covered in the questionnaire was the question, who owns the data? So, are there companies, and what kind of data is in their ownership? It is geotechnical soundings, or only boreholes or profiles. What type of data is collected? So, is dominant digital or analog format? Is data available from those geotechnical databases for free or a fee? How is data used only for reference, or in certain countries are there maintained or prepared geotechnical databases? And what's the legal framework, as geotechnical data has different settings in different countries, that either is obligatory to report it to Geological Survey, or it remains only in the archives of private companies. We gathered all the data, results were evaluated, and on the basis of qualitative analysis, some summary and recommendations were prepared. So 8 main recommendations were stated: that open data policy is the correct direction, geotechnical data should be freely accessible, and geotechnical data exchange frameworks should be developed. Also, geotechnical investigation results are very valuable for companies, so we have to keep this into account, that this is valuable know-how of companies. Development of geotechnical databases is needed, because without them, future implementation of widespread use of GIS and BIM would be limited, as we need to input the data into this system. Also, we need standard implementation for the databases, as like standardized glossaries. Data exchange format like AGS format are necessary to minimize the time for rewriting the data that is already in digital format. And geotechnical databases are necessary to fill the gap between city scale and site-specific data. Legal regulation need to be covered, and data gathering must be done with tools to minimize transcription errors, because if databases are heterogeneous, quick gist processing is not possible. Here we have an example from Wood City, from our project in PCI, that this is typical coverage for 50 kilo, 1 to 50,000 scale map. It's about 2,000 boreholes. If we manage an effort to get the geotechnical data from companies, or in this project we even buy some of those boreholes from companies, we have more than 15,000 boreholes, and detailed 1 to 10,000 scale maps can be done. Chapter 3 of the report covers the geotechnical databases and tries to identify the good practices. We had strong input from 3 case studies from Belgium, Ireland, and Poland. The best practice was original database DOF of subsoil for Flanders, and this is a very big database with over 140,000 boreholes and CPT soundings and laboratory tests. And this kind of database can be shown as an example that good geotechnical databases are necessary to support preliminary investigation prior to in-situ testing, to support administrative aspects related to in-situ test, also help planning in-situ test in proper location, are very usable for verification as a framework and general background for evaluation of results of in-situ test and their following laboratory tests. They are able to report the raw data for processing for their clients. They are able to support data management, and if they cover large area, they are a tool for policy making and for advanced use of data in multi-layer GIS processing. For example, products of such databases include 2D maps and cross-sections and the 3D visualization available at online browser. And there is very important that the disclaimers should be given that data from such databases like DOF are not substitute for ground investigation reports, and data only can be used as a part of a desk study, because not to make a shortcut for people. If we give them too much data, this may bring problem that less site investigation will be done. Another example is GSI's database from Ireland. It's over 92,000 boreholes and trial pits. Products generated by database vary from 2D GIS layers and maps and 3D models and cross-sections generated either from the model or prepared from the borehole database. And the third case study, the good practice, is a project from Polish Geological Institute, Engineering Geological Database. We have over 300,000 boreholes for the 13 biggest cities in Poland. Each data set is above 15,000 boreholes. And I would like to illustrate on this example that products of database, which are generic scale maps, that each city has the same set of generic maps, that they are generated with the use of developed methodology, and then later on are integrated with topographical and project data and used, and fieldworks done especially for the projects are used for geological mapping and modeling, and have a lot of applications. It's not, it cannot be done without database integration. And what is very important, that standardized glossaries of abbreviations according to standards and to cartographic projects like for genesis and stratigraphy are very useful if we want later to process and integrate our data sets in larger scale projects. And in our project, in PGI, we created a borehole wizard, which allows only selection from the lists, and this allowed us to minimize the transcription error. So we had an example of Bydgoszcz city. This is our latest data set done fully with the standards. We minimize the transcription errors, and we had contact with a local water sewage management company that give us the feedback that the generic maps, it's not suitable for them. They want a tailored-made product, as they have problems when they are trenching or digging, micro-tunneling. They have problems that they occur the moraine, gravel, or boulders, or pliers and clay roof denivellation. They have delays in construction work, some issues with contractors, and they want selected maps. So we made a set of meetings with them and prepared tailored-made maps for them that the content was already in the database, but the type of visualization was demanded by them because they wanted just for their direct use. And this type of processing took us over 6 weeks to make 90 to make these 5G layers, but this was available only because data was processable. So it's very important to have data integration and data quality. Also, visualization, even simple in 3D for city scale, for general public, like we have a bedrock and layer and amount of boreholes, is very important for communicating that we have the knowledge about the subsurface. This is simple ArcGIS 3D analysis, and geotechnical databases can be also used for site scale documentation. Here we used our database to visualize the deformation of pliers and clay roof that makes a big construction problem. 5 minutes away. And these are examples that this kind of data is necessary for the visualization purposes. So this is presented in the chapter 2. Chapter 4 of our report presents the framework of geotechnical data transfer to increase the knowledge of city subsurface. Here we relied on best practice from UK, from Glasgow ESC network developed by British Geological Survey and its partners. And here we, Dave and Crystal, prepared a scheme how Geological Survey, the database holder, cooperates with City Council, the municipality, and clients, and they share both the data and also the tools like Geotechnical GIS of Glasgow. The chapter 5 presents geohazards in the urban environment. We have a strong input from Macedonia, Romania, and Turkey, 2 case studies and 1 input for report chapter. Geohazards are very important as they are often overlooked, and if they are if they are missed during spatial planning phase, later we can have serious problems like if we do not take them into account. The awareness is generally low, so we must go through full scope of geohazards, and such what we listed in our report, such inventories of landslides like SOPO or Serbian projects can be considered good practices. Also, a landslide case study was presented for Ramina to show the importance of geotechnical modeling for the landslide stabilization and remediation. And two case studies were presented. The ArcGIS project from Turkey, from done by IDIN, about landslide monitoring with satellite interferometry and GPS methods of land subsidence done by land use and water abstraction, and also a nationwide approach country report about geohazards Romania. 3 geohazards were covered, and you can see that the framework Romania is 60% is prone to landslide. Generally, the report is focused to highlight how to increase the awareness among the city planners. These are the gaps we found in our report. How to incorporate geotechnical modeling and geohazards in the early stage of spatial planning. That's why I showed you the visualization of players and clay. That is the communication for stakeholders to get more money for geological investigation. This shows them that geology really matters. How to encourage and require public organizations to share the geotechnical data with geological surveys. If we don't have an access to public, to private geotechnical data, we cannot make detailed models. It's a problem. And what should be the framework standard? How to integrate the model to meet site-specific and city-scale requirements. It's very important issue. So this was the short presentation I wanted to give, and if there are any questions.
Do that with his hands up first.
And if there is 1 minute, we have yesterday with Krzysztof, we found
you've saved yourself a minute, go for
1 minute. We found a movie from the 70s which shows a sketch seeing how spatial planning looked in the 70s. Stakeholder meets a group of experts and they are doing spatial planning. No, it's stakeholder and the planning process. Experts. What is this? Skyscrapers. This is the spatial places. It's quite
I have to admit, Glasgow did have a wood block model that's now in a museum, and I would imagine that colleagues back in the 20 years ago probably did do that with the block models. Dermot.
Grzegorz, thanks very much. That was a really interesting presentation. I was particularly interested in the work that PGI has done for Bydgoszcz, the water and sewage management company. Who actually paid for that work? Was that commissioned, or did you do that?
It was their initiative, as they have funding for improvement of water network, and they are occurring a problem that when they contract the works and they do not have risk maps, they suffer a long delay, because microtunneling, which is intended for clay or sand, goes into gravel or boulders, and then there is a conflict because the contracts have not good means for resolving the issue. And if they would have this kind of maps, they could convince at the start the stakeholders that, look, we are at the area, and they book the money for budget, and it's easier for them to get more flexible time framework. And that's the most important issue for them. But if the maps were taken as a generic product that are from the web, the information is not direct there. So they said they had a meeting with us, they defined those 5 products they need, and now they are very glad because this is direct message to their stakeholders, and their geological team can use this on their problem.
It's an excellent example of providing data in the right form to the right client, and if you could track that and give us feedback as to how
we will prepare an
benefit.
article about this with the main geologists from the waterworks. However, what is most important in this project, it was that they had only 2 months to get these maps, because otherwise they wouldn't use it. And fortunately, the Bydgoszcz city was the latest data set we made, where we implied these data transcription errors, and we used some lessons we learned at the start of the cost. So it's somehow benefit of our activities we did together with Krzysztof. And this allowed us 1 month processing, and they were happy because usually it would take half a year, because you would have to manually transcribe the database, and now it was available.
Any other quick questions? And then we'll go to Sia.
Yeah, this is an interesting presentation. I think many issues you raised are being addressed also in the integrated modeling process. I was wondering, do you also take into account the uncertainty in your data when you put it into a database?
Our framework is that we put to the database most of the data that goes to geological archive, or we buy it from companies. So it has full something like a log, so the modeler can filter it. We have a disclaimer about the data quality similar to the one I presented in DOF, but we have this kind of problem that data is heterogeneous, so we often do not know on the we do not prepare interpretation, but we use an Euclidean allocation, just a plain geostatistics, which is a little bit square and rough, but it's like mathematical, like a 2D visualization of a database. And we say it's not a geological interpreted map, but it's a visualization of a database.
No, but also the plain data has uncertainty in it. For example, in its in the location or in the method, etc.
Yes, but as we rely on the documents that are already registered in archives and have some legal, they are stamped, so authors credited for them. So we consider our maps a 2D visualization of the content of a database, and we, in this disclaimer, emphasize that this should be used by geologists who can interpret and judge the information on the maps.
Okay. Any other bright ideas?